Hey friends, it's Jenna with Dog Liaison Training, and today I wanted to talk about the difference between cue and command. In all of my videos, and especially if you're one of my current clients, you know that I use the word cue instead of saying we're going to teach the dogs commands. And just right off the bat, to be completely honest, if one of my clients says the word command, or if I have another person say the word command, dog commands to me, like, I'm not gonna come at them with a pitchfork. It's really not that big of a deal, okay? But one of the reasons I encourage people to say cue in lieu of command is because of the connotation. When we're talking about a cue, we're giving it a much more approachable solution, right? But when we think of command, that can really affect our tone when we're delivering a command like sit. So for example, if we're thinking of the word sit, we're trying to tell our dog sit and we have it in our mind command, you're likely to say it as sit, right? And that tone is problematic for the dog because either A, they're going to do it through intimidation, and consent through intimidation is not consent. Consent through fear is not consent. Those are two of my favorite phrases. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Just because the dog did it doesn't mean he enjoyed it. So commanding the dog to do it usually sets up an or else scenario. Do this or suffer consequences. And that's not any sort of opportune learning moment that we want to set up. That is not healthy for the dogs. We always want them to be willing participants. The other fact of the matter is that cue is going to be a much more professional jargon. So if we're thinking in terms of animal behavior being a science, if we're thinking in terms of animal behavior being a researched topic and not some methodology, then it's important that we use professional jargon. It's important for your dog trainer to be using professional jargon. So if they're saying command, that is an indication to me that they may not be, they may not take as much of an evidence approach as I would hope for from my trainers. But if they're saying cue, then I know that they've probably done a lot of research, right? That this is something that is in their normal dialect, that this is in their normal jargon. And so they're reading studies that are also using that same jargon. So, you know, for the common folk, whether they're saying cue or command, it's really not that big of a deal. And even if I'm talking to an educated trainer, if they slip and say command, like, it's really not that big of a deal if I know what their intent is. But I would hope that we can start to steer away from this sort of idea that we must command our dogs to do things, that they have no say, that this is an order. We have to start steering away from that idea because it's not healthy for the dogs, and we're getting a lot of behavioral issues out of that intent. But the more we have a much more fresh perspective and open-minded perspective like a cue, the more likely it is that we're going to get the results, the sustainable results we're looking for. So I hope that cleared up why I say cue versus command. And, you know, I lead by example. So if you start picking up the word cue, if you say it more frequently, that will make my heart very, very happy. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later. Bye.